The man casually slapped the boss's secretary on the backside, never expecting the boss himself to witness it. Yet instead of calling the police, the boss publicly promised him a promotion and a raise on the condition that he stayed late to work overtime that night. Puzzled but tempted, the man agreed, unaware that this single decision would haunt him for the rest of his life. Hours later, he stepped out of the office in the early morning and stumbled upon a horrifying sight. Terrified, he hid behind a wall, waiting until a hitman dragged away a body before sneaking into the restroom. But the next second, he discovered that the security guard had already been killed. Footsteps echoed outside. He quickly shut the stall door and climbed onto the toilet, crouching low. The hitman walked in, wiping blood from his face while calling out to the dead guard. When the man noticed the guard's key ring hanging at the killer's side, he realized the hitman could enter at any moment. In desperation, he squeezed through a gap into the next stall, accidentally triggering the motion sensor. Thinking fast, he stepped back onto the toilet and flushed just as the killer rose to check. Once the hitman left, the man bolted from the restroom. As he pushed open another door, he ran into a co-worker who had also stayed late. He quickly explained what had happened, and together they tried to escape. The elevator had already been disabled, and the fire exit was locked as well. The man urged his co-worker to call the police while he went to find the boss. But when he reached the office, the boss was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, the co-worker was on the phone with the police when the killer's voice suddenly echoed behind him. A hand landed on his shoulder. The hitman gestured for him to hang up, then pressed a gun against his head. He demanded to know who else was working late. When the co-worker admitted it was only one person, the killer pulled out a coil of wire and moved in. By the time the man returned, the office was unnervingly silent. He crouched at his desk, trying to call for help, but his phone was dead. Panicked, he plugged it in to charge only to turn around and see his co-worker's lifeless body. Before he could react, the killer pushed open the door. The man scrambled into a storage room, holding his breath as he watched. Luckily, the hitman was distracted by a phone call and hadn't noticed him yet, but his footsteps soon drew closer. The man tensed, preparing to attack the moment the door opened. Then, a phone rang loudly. His girlfriend was calling. The killer snatched up the phone, saw the man's name and photo, and immediately realized his target was nearby. The man seized the moment to slip away into another room. There, he lit a wad of paper, hoping to trigger the fire alarm. But nothing happened. Looking across at another building, he spotted someone still working and desperately waved for help. Outside, the hitman caught the faint smell of burning and headed straight for the room with his gun raised. Viewers, do you think the man will escape the killer's hunt?